Welcome, as once again we reflect on the Holy Scriptures for this 23rd Sunday in Ordinary Time. Reflection of those Holy Scriptures is very important. In some ways, the tone and the advice of these readings seems almost totally contrary to the feel of the United States, our country. We don't like to be told what to do. We don't think anybody really can tell us what to do, right? We have our freedom, we have our individual opinion, and that's the most important thing for us. And yet, in reality, we know that our society needs guidance, sometimes someone needs to talk to somebody about what they're doing, how they're acting, what they're saying, because it's becoming a very difficult situation for people to live by and live with. So when the prophet Ezekiel receives the commission of God, he is described as being appointed the watchman for the house of Israel. Watchman. Watchman was somebody, especially in those days, long before all the security we have and fire detectors and other kinds of things, that would look out from a city wall and would look over the city and make sure there's no fires out there. If there was, he would raise the alarm. Or if he'd see somebody coming in the night up to the walls of the city, he would call the forces of the city out to protect the city from someone. Or if he saw someone lurking in the shadows, the watchman pointed out and warned so that the wickedness that was about to be perpetrated would not be. And we still need that in our society today, as much as we think we know everything on our own and can do everything on our own. Sometimes people do need to be confronted with what they're doing and how they're acting. Every day it happens. We do it through the law. Yes, the law. The laws, investigations, confrontations that take place. But we also need to do it within our families and within our church communities. Not all the time, not in every circumstance, because in some ways, hopefully and prayerfully, the meditation, the reflection from the scriptures that we read each Sunday, the preaching of the pastors and the preachers and the priests get through to people and they start changing their ways. But there are times when we have to confront someone. But the advice of the scriptures is very important too, because in the Gospel of Matthew, we have an outline of a progression, you might say, of where you start. And the problem with most people is they don't even start with the first step. The first step is simply a one-on-one discussion of the issue. A one-on-one discussion of the issue. And many times, in many situations, that is not even the beginning. There's nothing being done. No one says anything to anyone. And it gets out of hand. And that's what's important about a communication on that level of one-on-one with each other. As the gospel describes it, if that doesn't work, then bring a few other people with you. Now that, I have been witness to that. A lot of times when people are, I know within the clergy of our own Catholic Church, when priests are drinking too much, the people will go to the bishop, and the bishop will send out one of his representatives, and they'll gather together a group of parishioners, people that really love the priest, and they'll sit down and they'll say, please listen to what these people have to say, and they'll narrate what they have experienced over the last few weeks or months with this priest, how his drunkenness came across, what he said to them, how he acted. And they're very upset with that because it's not good for the priest nor for the people. But sometimes it takes a group to convince people about that. And the final words of the passage are a little bit more strong, but it has to do with those situations where people will not relent, will not change. Sometimes they have to be, you might say, excommunicated or pushed out for a while, or create a barrier so that they wake up, that they come back to their senses of what they're supposed to do. We are all watchmen in a very real way. Remember, what was the excuse Cain said to God about Abel when God said, "Where is your brother Abel?" And Cain says, "Well, I'm my brother's keeper." That's what God says you really are. You are your brother's keeper. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it's difficult. But we all have a responsibility and an accountability to try to do our best with each other. God bless you.